Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same without wasting a single second of your time. Bada bing, bada boom, we go. Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Butting its head up against that 43,977 resistance level that it's been on for some time now for the last few days. You can go left and take a look at where those levels lie across the time frames from 2022 to 2021. Those are the only levels we put up on the chart. This diagonal pitch fan has been treating us nicely since January of this year, so we'll see, does it lead us to the end of the year? Well, we're at the between the 786 and the 886 levels. Do we start to retrace back down into some of this liquidity? And yeah, let's go into high block capital. What is high block, you say? Well, people lock that liquidity into the charts to get burnt to the crisp by the market maker for not using a stop loss, and we get to see where those crispy characters are, so let's do it now. So it's just been going up, back and forth between these levels here within the consolidation range to take out the 100xers, and on both sides really getting the Johnny come latelys on the longs and also the shorts. So just getting 62 million here, 56 million there, 87 million here, 159 million there as they broke out. The breakout traders are not the best type of trader because they open into resistance and then just immediately come back to their liquidity. Somebody putting a limit order buy up above here is not the smart move. That is where longs from down below offload their position. So let's go see. Not anything noteworthy to really say fatality over. I mean, I guess that 159 million long that as we broke up to resistance there.
Fatality.
So do we continue lower? There is nothing being pinged in. It is Saturday, December 23rd, almost approaching the new sun birthday, the Dies Natalis Solis Invicti of Saturnalia, Christmas time, as we modern day people call it. So we got this $24 million long to take out down here at 43.77. That's about it for the person playing the breakout up here. Overall, still have that long liquidity down below to come grab at that $8.8 billion imbalance down here that we were calling about yesterday. That has yet to basically play out. Let's go ahead and show what we were talking about here. We were saying you'd need to get a rejection of the 706, which we got, and we started to come down into this candle but got bought back up. And we've been basically holding between the 0.65 and the 706 of this bullish trend-based fib level, so we're still slated to possibly come up into these regions. We're going to remove some of this in a minute, actually. We might still have some levels worth keeping, so we'll just remove the projection and see what we can see. Let's go ahead and expand our vision to the higher time frame pools of liquidity. On the 7-day, let's go ahead and max out the liquidity here and see what we can see. So it's generating a nice pool of liquidity on both sides. They can go wick-whack both and not bat an eyelash. I've seen it happen a million times over. So playing the Christmas time period is going to make a lot of people give up their presents, so be careful if you're playing the weekend. Enjoy time with your family. That is most important. As we come to the monthly, we do see that there is that possibility of coming up into these shorts. There is a double-digit pool across multiple ranges here leading to that 45.5 higher high hit. We came up into a little bit, releasing some positions up here and coming down into some longs here that they could pad to their position. So does the weekly candle close strong or not? Coming up into that 50 billion plus, up in that 45 5 region seems to be the case. Let's go ahead and throw on the momentum and save ourselves a little bit of time by going directly into it. Link in the description for more. This is momentummaster.info. Scroll down to features, toggle at your leisure, and put on each of the components as they become prominent. The trend cloud, the baselines, the stochastic array, and more. The dynamic alerts to your phone, keeping you plugged in to what's going on, overbought, oversold, and all that fun stuff. So immediately we can see that the 4-hour is low and the hourly is getting high, as the 15 is also starting to pump up. The 5-minute looking to reset and possibly come up here, and that is what we can see in an instant with the indicator on. So let's go ahead and do our daily due diligence for the trades here. I'm looking for this 3-day cross to play out here. I would love to see it go up into here and fade, and then look for a juicy swing short idea up in that region. This cross down event on the 3-day we've talked about for some time now, since this candle closed about 6 days ago. So 23 hours this candle will close, most likely beneath the baselines, and then another 3-day can surge us up and fade on Monday or so. So it's taken this jolly good time. We talked about it not being immediate. Here we had a cross down event and it took a good 15 days to play out. And then over here we talked about this cross down event that led to a stop hunt rise and then drop for another 15 days to play out. So doesn't mean it won't play out, but it takes time because it is the 3-day time frame. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, we have about a 6 more days of potential before this comes into play, perhaps. Looking at the 3-day stochastic, the Williams looking to double top here, having that alarm cross potential. The last time we got an alarm cross, it did play out, and the last 2 fake out ones, it took some time to play out. Even this one started to play out a little bit. And yeah, so looking at the Williams on the 3-day. Coming to the daily time frame. Daily time frame is starting to come up here without really making much. You have an indecision doji top here as we reach up into the baselines here and consider going higher. Ambiguous at best, but overall reclaiming the baseline here. We would like to see if it's going to be a genuine hold. It would retrace back down. Let's go see what is going on. We got the 22-hour cloud starting to turn purple as sell-off occurs and we hold this range. So even coming back to that cloud and confirming with the kiss and continuation, this cloud is getting weak on the 22 also getting overbought. Let's go ahead and go lower into the 12-hour. The 12-hour also showing this thinning of the cloud as we hold the range and people offload their positions for the end of the year up in this level. All right. Coming to the 12-hour stochastic, the money flow, we were talking about that disparity coming back up to the RSI. It did that. Still beneath the RSI, suggesting that it could continue with that subtle support of the 12. If we look at the 6-hour cloud was what we were looking at here with this curvature. I believe it was the 4-hour as well. So we're seeing the 12 and the 6, the ambiguity of both of these conflicting, this one curving down and this one curving up, and that gave some confliction as we flipped it back up here. Let's go ahead and curve this off we're going to be looking at the higher time frame from here on out. 4 hours cloud also gave you that nice cloud kiss entry down here on Wednesday, talking about holding that cloud and that 236. If you recall, we were talking about this 236 level needing to hold for upside to continue, and it held and banged up to that level where we've been holding thus far. So now you're getting up to speed with the narrative here, and this, I believe, is the hourly cloud, and we had the cross down event yesterday giving us that insinuation of dropping down here, which we started to do. Okay, coming to the hourly. So the hourly cloud also had some nukes lock in the other day and some 15-minute nukes over here, and this was why we're seeing this 786 daily resistance at 44k. And this cloud also looking to come down here as you fade into sell-off for the Christmas holiday season. 15-minute getting overbought as we get exhausted up here. So yeah, essentially getting these nukes across the daily time frame. And I believe this is, if we just turn this off and look at the oscillators here on Momentum Master B, we have that daily time frame getting a bit exhausted, but overall also the weekly, something we don't rarely do, but the RSI and the money flow coming up to exhausted levels alongside the Williams here on the weekly, and we've seen 1, 2, 3 weeks up in this region and not necessarily going higher. Do we get one last fake out blast and then sell off to the downside leading into 2024, into the halving, or not? This was a theory we were talking about for some time, so seeing it occur would be interesting to note. Yeah, so let's go ahead and see what you guys are up to. Yo, what's up, Rehab? It's been a hot minute for sure. So we're gonna go into this, the broader markets, the dominance and all that fun stuff. The Bitcoin dominance getting a bit of a rejection here, giving the alts some time to play ball. The alts also getting fatigued as people take their profits for the end of the year on their alts, most likely. We have some resistance levels up there at 502 billion. If we go and look over to the left, we did attempt to wick up into that region, not making it exact, but getting close to the target. All right, so we were talking about this 706 as an idea to hold for getting sent higher if people were repositioned back into alts. My man Steven was looking at Matic, so we'll look at Matic for him. We were saying the structure was overall looking to retrace further, but eventually seeing this reaction off the 12, we went up to that target that we were seeing, the short pool up here. You reclaim that cloud, so without getting a rejection off of the cloud here, you could be seeing higher, but overall getting some fatigue on Matic on the 6 time frame. So if you're taking some profits here, this is also a high resistance zone. If you look up in here, there's some fair value gap potential on lower time frames. If we go to an hourly, most likely, yeah, in these 3 candles, there's something in here. And breaker block. If we use that in Momentum Master A, you do have an order block finder. We were into that whole order block theory ages ago. So you have one actually up here in this region. Saves you time to have to hunt for it. So there is an order block, a bearish one up in this region, and you have another one up in there too. Okay, so you got those zones for Matic to look out for as BTC surges, possibly to the upside. We already got a play on that cloud. We were saying look at this region and the cloud reaction. We did hold the cloud on the 12-hour, so that means we could be going higher. Let's go ahead and look at Matic's liquidity, see what was induced, shall we? Somebody taking some profits for before Christmas here. Let's go ahead and see. Matic. Okay, so you got some large, long liquidity located below on, whoops, why am I doing that? So we're trying to switch the liquidity actually. So go to max liquidity here. And okay, so you got 5.4 million down here at 83.6 and another million or so. So a thicker band of liquidity down here at that 83.56 level. So it looks like we're accelerating down to that perhaps to get those longs down in here. 83.6 is about here. So coming into some of this long liquidity, the late longers on Matic. You got some shorts opening up immediately right now at 2.27 million short as it tries to accelerate down without being noticed. And those 6 time frames oversold, locking in on the 12-hour, so that is some exhaustion to expect to come back into this vector at least a little bit. If we take this and hold it to the flame here and start to go into a equilibrium bounce or even just shallow, coming back to these levels would make sense. At the bare minimum, you are at a premium, so coming down to this vector candle and recovering some of it before going into these regions for a little bit of an A, B, C to the upside, perhaps coming to these regions alongside BTC since it's taking its time to get there. And if you go, so you got the 12-hour is overbought. You still can get some run up here, but overall the alts are going to try to cycle back into Bitcoin at one time, and that's going to flow into the dominance here. So the Bitcoin dominance had a bit of a tumble, and it could see a little bit more of a bounce after coming back down here. You could get a D wave up to here. Let's go see what we were recovering over in this region. So we came into this support structure and possibly getting some dominance back. If we look at the 12-hour, it is reset alongside the 6 and the 4. So getting a little bit of a dominance boost here off of some support levels after reclaiming some liquidity on the dominance, and the alts basically getting a nuke and cycling back, getting a cross down event on this. So you should be seeing the alts basically cycle back into Bitcoin at this time. Whoa, what? Alright, so it opened in a new window. So yeah, having that being said, we're also double bottoming on the USDT dominance, so people getting tethered up. We had some rocket ships close on the 6-hour down here. The last time we did that, we did have a burst up. So something to note, do we see some sort of play into USDT at some point? So do the alts cycle their profits back into, wash them into Bitcoin one last time for Bitcoin dominance to rise up and basically people take their profits from their alts and put it into total for one last hurrah? Overall, you're getting fatigued across the spectrum here, so where do you see this going? How far do we rise before we start to retrace for real? Taking off some of our indicators here to look at the math, we'll just go ahead and look over here. You have some basic rejection levels to look at inside of here. So this entire range between here and here is a juicy level to look at for possible rejection. Okay, for the cryptocurrency total market cap. Coming back to BTC, and then we'll take some requests, and then I'm gonna go take my kids to a Christmas party at my friend's house. So the hourly cloud was turning to the downside, and we are just consolidating within this range, ultimately getting fatigued and giving back positions and taking out the over leveraged 50x and 100x on both sides. Overall, the analysis of coming lower into this and bouncing off of it higher is still something we're looking at. So coming into this, if you sweep this first, then you will go up to here stronger. Now if you're going to go up higher and fade off of this, then we could just go and dump down to here even better. We're here for it either way. Don't care which direction, we just want to catch the move and the pivot points, and looking at those potential pivot points. Okay, so we're also at the precipice of a 6-hour cross down event. So in the next 6 hours, 5 hours actually, will this close beneath the 706 for some acceleration to the downside and coming down to that pool, and then watching for a reaction. All right, be careful trading on the holidays. A lot of liquidity is low, so you become an easier target for manipulation, especially across the alts. Let's go ahead and remind people about that with liquidation data. Coinglass.com/liquidation data to see who's been liquidated. You had some, basically you're watching liquidations happen in live right now, real time. $8,000, $3,000, $1,200 on ETC, on BNB, on Bake, Apt. So real-time liquidations. You had some long liquidation on Matic, ETH liquidations, Sol, BTC. You can see where all the liquidations are. In the hour, the 4 hour, you can see the last 12 hours. A $12 million guy on BTC, the last 24, 28. And you can see who's been targeted. All right, so let's go ahead and try to give an analysis here, basically trying to see if it comes down to that pool and watching for a reaction off in this region. It'd be nicer if it went even deeper off instead of this and coming to this idea here and reacting off of the 618 or this pocket region in general. All right, so going into the weekly candle close, you'll see some manipulation coming back and engineering a liquidity here. Go and grab it, come back up here, and then potentially fade off of that. The liquidity lines up with grabbing some of that long liquidity first, and then going for the highs at 45.50, And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. It's basically the same, unchanged, because we've been in this thing unchanged since about 2.5 days ago. So they're engineering both sides right now, gathering their 50 and 100x power to do so, to take it to the regions they need to. Okay. All right, so if you have, oh, hey, what's up? Thanks, Wendy. Thank you very much. So the Apex said they sent it, but it's still taking a moment to arrive. It takes 3 to 7 days to arrive, apparently. I guess their processing department or whatever. But we will get that payout video recorded and made. Hopefully brings in some eyeballs to the channel, because only 1% make it there. But slow and steady win the race, eh? Alright, so yeah, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Can we come back to this 4-hour cloud kiss potential? We are crossing down on the baselines, respecting them, so coming back down to this level seems to be the case. At least in the interim, we're looking for a small pullback in order to reach the high target. And yeah, the 6-hour cloud looking to possibly, or baselines looking to cross down here. I'm not looking to necessarily short this, because overall I want to see it pump up and then look for a bigger short potentially up there after the liquidity is grabbed. Right now there's some hot liquidity up above and less down below, so I'm looking for more of a pullback into these over leveraged 50xers for a smart money position to the upside, perhaps. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it, folks. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment, of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same, bringing the fire, the accuracy, the precision, all that fun